Mother ever have a kind of slightly complicated relationship with the way your father treated you all, or did she go along with it completely?
My mother was very quiet. She was very shy and she was very quiet. I don't know if she went along with it or not, because she would never really say. Sometimes she would say, oh, that's just Joe's way of expressing his love or showing his love, which my father, don't get me wrong, he's a very loving person.
Has he ever told you he loves you?
Yeah, all the time. As a matter of fact, I just...
But not only now, he didn't when you were younger, right?
When we were younger, no. Do
you remember the first time he said it?
I think I told him first. I said, Joseph, I love you very, very much, and you mean the world to me. I want you to know that. And Piers, I had seen a man that I had never seen before. Yeah.
And actually, you know, I think Janet said he'd hit her once with a belt or something.
Yeah, I got one spanking.
What she found more abusive, in a way, it seemed to me, was when she said to me that the really sad thing was she tried to call him Dad or Daddy once, and he stopped her and said, no, my name is Joe. And I found that, as a parent, hard to listen to. And I think I just got a sense that she wished she'd been able to have a normal father in that respect.
I don't know the experience with the Joe and the dad part with her, but I do know.
What did you call him?
Joseph. We all do. That's what we know him as, Joseph.
But everybody else would call their father Daddy or Father.
Yes, of course. But that's what we call him, and that's what we call our mother, and that's...
Do you still call him Joseph?
Yes, of course. But
if you called him Dad, what would happen?
I don't know. He'd probably be shocked. He'd probably be
Well, you laugh exactly like Janet.
Do I?
You look exactly the same.
That's funny. Don't start me to laughing.
How do you get on with him now?
Very well. I love my father very, very well. I'm so happy that I'm older and I'm able to see things differently than I did when I was a bit younger. So I understand. As you get older and I don't have children, of course, but when you start with your nieces and nephews and you begin to raise them and watch them, you understand and realize why your parents did the things that they did. Just remember something which is very interesting, is that I don't care who you are in life. Everybody is looking for love. Everybody wants to be accepted. So when my father heard those words, you have to remember, it was almost as if, geez, I've never heard this before from any of my children. This is wonderful. And it made him feel good. It made him feel like he was someone. Because after all, we're all children. No matter how old or how young we are, we're all children. And I always become very analytical with people. If someone's mean to me or saying something very negative, I say, what went wrong in their life? What went wrong in their childhood? Why are they reacting the way they're reacting? So what I did was I began to study my father, watch what he was doing, watch his ways, learn a little bit more about his parents, and that taught me about him. I learned that my father was alone there for him. He was the one who raised his brothers and sisters. He's the one who took care of them. He's the one who walked 5 miles to school every day.
So he never really had love himself.
He never had love himself. And so if you don't...
Didn't know how to express it or anything.
You can't give away what you don't have.
Yeah,
if you don't have
really
love
true.
in here to give away, how can you give it away? But he did have love in there. He just didn't know how to express it. And now he does.
Did Michael ever say, I love you to Joseph, do you think?
Yes, he has. He did say that to him. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It was something that we always said. We shared that with our mother all the time. With my father, it was probably in the past maybe 10, 12 years.
If you had the chance to talk to Michael again, what would you say to him that you never got the chance to, maybe?
I would tell him that I'm sorry that I wasn't there to help him to start over. I wasn't there to prevent this from happening to him, what took place and what happened, this control. Had I think I'd been there, I think he would still be here today. I know he would, because I wouldn't have allowed it to happen. There's so many things that I could say, but I'm sorry that he's no longer with us, that these people took control of him and took advantage of him.
I mean, awful though it was that Michael died, and it was, I remember just being so shocked, a huge fan of his. I had tickets to the first show in London, was excited by seeing him again. I could never imagine him as an old man, somehow.
I know.
Michael.
I know.
In a funny way, the kind of immortalising that went on after he died, awful that it was for the family, I think for his memory, you know, when all his records went back to the top of the charts. I had one of my 10-year-old son, my youngest, got really into Michael Jackson music after he died because it was on the radio all the time.
Sister Janet, she has a new book. Are you close to Janet?
Yes.
She has a book called True You. Have you read the book?
I haven't read the book. I've been so busy running, but I know it's good.
It's good. And in the book, in the interviews, she talks about your father hitting her once with a belt. Did that ever happen to you?
I got a spanking once when I was in kindergarten. Was it kindergarten or
What'd
first
you
grade?
do?
First grade.
Why did you get a spanking?
I didn't pass. I was left behind. And the reason I was left behind, it was really weird because on my report card, when you're that young, it had all S's. And
Oh, yes,
S is
satisfactory.
satisfactory,
Right.
which is the highest grade you can get. I had all S's, but I didn't pass. And the reason I didn't pass is because they said because she won't talk. She doesn't talk in school. She doesn't talk in class. And I was so shy. I was like this. I wouldn't talk, but my grades were just top.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, maybe if we leave her back, she'll speak in school. Well, after that beating, I spoke.
Really? So does your father actually thought that if he hit you, you were going to talk?
Well, you know what it is, Joy, and I have to be quite honest with you. Back then, in those days, everybody spanked their children, basically. And that's the way people grew up in a lot of the households for discipline. But we've learned today that you don't do that. We're talking about 30-something years, you know, or more, way back there. And that's what parents did. Today, they don't do it that way because we have this child abuse rule now, which is quite different.
Well, I think that, you know, some people believe in that type of discipline.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. My family
Yeah.
never spanked me or anything like that.
Well,
but
neither do I.
yeah, well, now you know better.
Yes,
you know
neither
better.
do I.